Hey, what's going on, everybody? Wesley here from the Metrix Metagame, and today I'm bringing you something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. When I started playing the game back in February or so, I guess that's when I started taking it more seriously. I put together Starvo, and right after I put him together, I realized that he was going to be way too good, and he was just going to be saturated, and it just wasn't fun. In my opinion, just wasn't fun. And I started looking into other heroes, and then I kind of found a hero that I liked, and I ended up sticking with her, and I still play her to this day. All of my callings, all of my RTNs, my pro quests, everything has been played with Dash. So fast forward, and I guess I've been playing Dash for about 8 months, solid 8 months, and I'd like to just kind of cover with you guys a quick overview of Dash, some lessons that I've learned along the way, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's tons of other people out there that are doing this, but like my friend keeps telling me, everyone's experience with the hero is unique, and yeah, so I just want to kind of jump into the archetypes of Dash that I'm playing. They might differ from the lists that are getting published from the Battle Hardens and the Callings and whatnot. But, without further ado, let's kind of dive into to see what I'm doing. And if you guys have any suggestions, just, comment down below, subscribe, it really helps us out. And let's get into it. All right, so usually how I break down Dash, at least whenever I put her into my deck box, I go ahead and break her into the aggro variant. Reason being is most of the matchups we're going to want to go fast. There's a lot of phi's, a lot of other things lingering around. So we know what Dash does. If you don't, Dash gets to start the arena with an item that costs 2 or less. Whenever we're playing the aggro matchup, we're going to go down here. We're going to get a Teklo Pounder. So what Teklo Pounder allows us to do is essentially we're going to boost, and whenever we boost, the first attack we boost each turn, it's going to give that attack +2, which is that's going to present some cool stuff. But we'll break into that some more. I just want to kind of cover the equipment first. For aggro matchups, it's been found that Talishar is viable in CC. I've been playing Talishar Dash in Blitz, and I'm still kind of on the fence about Talishar in CC. The thing is, if your opponent can block very well, once Talishar breaks, you're not very scary. So I don't even I really don't swing with Talishar until probably about mid game, where we can, we've already chipped some life away, and now we're going to start presenting, a little bit more, just to kind of really make those turns where we can really push the damage through. So usually I'll wait to see if I can get their hand. If I can get their hand and I can get go again, then I'll swing Talishar for 4. That way I make sure that rust counter, because you only get 3, I make sure that rust counter counts for something. Achilles accelerators, instant speed, auto include in Dash. You can break them if you've boosted. If you do, you get 1 action point. It's also arcane barrier 1, so we can prevent some of the arcane damage at least. Crown of Providence, new card with Uprising. We're really using this to fix our hands. There's been a couple times where I've with maximum velocity or Spark of Genius or something, if I put something in my arsenal that I really wanted to keep, I will use Crown whenever a Command and Conquer comes in, just to get it out. If I don't want to block all of it, I will just Crown it away, and then at least I kind of protected that card. That's just kind of what I think. So yeah, you took 4 damage, maybe you blocked with 1 card from hand, so maybe you just take 1, but you were able to protect that arsenal still. Sadly, we can't play it, but hey, it's not the end of the world. Goliath Gauntlet gives the next attack action that costs 2 or more, +2. And then lastly, the Heart of Dash, the Teklo Foundry Heart. So it reads, We pay 1, we banish 2 cards from our deck, we gain 1 resource for each Mechanologist card. When we're playing the aggro matchup with Dash, the aggro variant, all of the cards in the deck are Mechanologist cards. Just right at that moment, they're all Mechanologist cards. Because pretty much we're going to try and go really, really, really fast, and we're going to try and kill our opponent. So, a couple things here that I would call them pitfalls, right? I would call them pitfalls with Dash. I would never Teklo Foundry Heart. It just, I don't know why. I mean, it blocks 2, it blocks 1. But I was always afraid of like thinning my deck out, like going down to 9 cards left in deck. And I would lose games where I'd still have like, you know, over half my deck I've blocked, but I have half my deck. And it was just solely because I was afraid to activate the heart, because I didn't want to deck myself. I didn't want to be fatigued and only have 6, 7 cards left in my deck. And I think that's something that like newer Dash players, you just kind of have to like experience and just really get the reps in with her, because this is, you know, literally a red line deck. You're going to swing for the fences. We're going to try and kill our opponent. And if our opponent blocks us efficiently, we lose. Right? Like that's the trade-off with this version of Dash. So a couple cards here that are just kind of like the big ones that, you know, I'm sure you know we'll cover most of them, but just a couple of the big ones. So Combustible Courier comes in for 4. If we have Teklo Pounder on the field, this is coming in for 6 because we will boost it. And then if it hits, we're going to get the next attack we boost plus 3. So a common sequence that you'll see from Dash players is they'll go Goliath Gauntlet, giving it plus 2, Combustible Courier, boost it, give it plus 2 from the Teklo Pounder. So now you're looking at 8 go again on hit. The next thing you boost on the chain gains plus 3. So, I mean, you're already threatening 11 damage with 1 card. So 8 if it hits, that's 8 damage. Then an additional 3 to the next attack. So it's effectively 2 for 11. That's kind of how I like to look at this card, because the first time I see it, I'm probably going to Goliath Gauntlet it. That's just kind of how it is. Very seldomly do I not. Maybe I save it if I can like get like a max V for like 12 or something else. But for the most part, it's going to be, for me at least, I go, you know, I'm going to save Gauntlet, Courier, Teklo Pounder, 8 go again on hit plus 3. There are some other ways that we can like make it where our opponent, it's difficult for our opponent to block, because Dash has a couple cards that says you must block this. And High Speed Impact is one of them. High Speed Impact threatens that if it hits, the next thing we boost gains Dominate. That can be scary, because what if I High Speed Impact into a Combustible Courier? So now it's, you know, essentially like could be 4, could be 6 Dominate. I'm for sure probably getting the on hit from Combustible Courier. So these two cards, it's kind of cool that they got paired this way. In my experience, these two cards are the ones that I always see blocked the most, just because it can be punishing. Let's see, going down here really quick, we're just trying to like go through the list kind of quickly, and then I kind of want to go into some other things that like I've been experimenting with Dash. Maximum velocities, 2 for 10. Something I can't stress to you guys enough, and you know, and it's, I'm sure we all do it, especially like, you know, when we're newer, when we're less experienced. Read the cards. I was cheating with Dash for months before one of my friends helped me realize that I was cheating and being a dirtbag. We'll get into that card, but maximum velocity says if you've boosted 3 or more times this turn. I don't know why, but cards like Payload, where it says if you boosted this combat chain, for some reason it was in my brain that maximum velocity said that it had to boost 3 times on this chain. So I just was never playing the card. I just wasn't. I mean, that's just carelessness from a player standpoint. So, you know, read the cards. It's my buddy Andrew, he says that to me all the time, so it's just kind of funny. So I'm kind of going to break into the sideboard here when we get to T-Bone. So there has been arguments made for running T-Bone. When Everfest came out, Everfest gave us a new card called T-Bone. T-Bone is 0 for 3, 0 for 2, 0 for 1 in red, yellow, blue, respectively. And it reads, if we control a card on the chain that has been boosted, T-Bone must be blocked with an equipment. So your opponent can block with another card from hand or whatever, but they have to give at least one piece of equipment for it. So a lot of heroes have things like Oldham has Crown, Briar has Snapdragons. A lot of them have ways of getting around this. So it's fine. But some of the other heroes like Ninja has a lot of Blade Break. Lexi has Blade Break. Any of these heroes that have Temper or Blade Break, let's just go ahead and punish them while we can. Even if they prevent all the damage, we at least got a counter on that equipment. And now with these lists running 9 T-Bones, it's not uncommon. Like I'm sure many of you saw at Pro Tour Lille, a Dash cranked off 3 T-Bones on the first turn and made a Briar give up Snapdragons. Then the Briar gave up Grasp, and then the Briar had to choose: do I want to give up my Crown of Providence, or do I want to give up Fendel Spring Tunic? And that was turn 0. So turn 0, no Crown for Briar. That is fantastic. That's going to give, that takes the ability away for Briar to fix her hand later in the game. That's essentially 2 life that Briar does not have later in the game. And it swung tempo into the Dash's favor. And that's why Jason took Dash to first. Then we have the auto includes. We have the Rainbow of Throttle, the Rainbow of Zero, the Rainbow of Zipper Hits. And then here's the card. So I had played Magic the Gathering, and I'm used to cards saying X. So when I read the text here, search your deck for a Mechanologist card with cost X and then put it to the arena, shuffle my deck, and if I've boosted, then draw a card. Well, I ignored this up here. On the card, it literally says XX, and I'd never seen that before. So when I read X, I was playing Spark, and this is a Battle Hardened in Pittsburgh back in April of 2022. I would play Spark, I would pitch my yellow, I would go get a Teklo Pounder. I'd play a Spark, I'd pitch a yellow, I'd go get an Induction Chamber. And that is not correct. So in order to go get these items, I should have been pitching at least 4 resources to go fetch the Teklo Pounder, or 0 resources to go get my Teklo Core. And that's pretty much it for the aggro list. Just kind of like running through it really quickly, but I want to get to like some cards that like I'm kind of like have been playtesting and kind of like see what you guys think. Okay, so diving into the sideboard, let's see here. How do I want to attack this? So let's go over Dash's control build. This is what I like to call the Guardian Grinder 9000. When you sit down and you see an Oldham in front of you, if you run this list into an Oldham, he's going to block you. You are going to just get hammered to death, and you're just going to hate life. So when we see an Oldham, the first thing we think is we are going to go to the pistol plan. So when we go to the pistol plan, we're pulling Talishar. We'll bring in Tecloplasma Pistol. We're going to bring in the Chambers. We're going to bring in the Purifiers. We're going to bring in Reinforce the Line, the Sink Belows, the Unmovables, and then we're going to bring out things that we don't need. So we're not going to play Teklo Cores. We're not going to play Teklo Pounders because they don't block. If you get stuck with 2 of those in your hand, that's 2 cards that don't block, and that can be the difference of a game. I've lost to Dorinthia's because I've literally gotten stuck with like a Teklo Core in hand, and it was the 3 life that I needed to prevent that Dawnblade from hitting, and it was terrible. It was just not a good feeling. And then we pull out the, let me see, Teklo Cores, Teklo Pounders. I think that's it that I pull out, and this is roughly what I run. So it's roughly around like 67, 68 cards into Oldham, and essentially like we're just gonna sit there and we're gonna block what we can. we're going to try and prevent the big scary stuff, you know, the Oakenolds, the other things. The choke slam we don't really care about, because our recursion and our plan is going to be, we want to shoot this little pistol with 3 purifiers on the field for 5, and then we want as many chambers as possible, and we're just going to go 5, react, go again, 5, react, go again, and we're going to do 4 shots in the turn. So, you know, it's not bad. A card that I didn't really like think about until I watched Jason at the Calling in Singapore was Reinforce the Line. I was running Fate for Scenes, and Fate's good. It at least lets us opt, but I'm not boosting in this list. So the opt would be good if I could like make sure my top card is a Mechanologist card, and then I would boost that card, and I would be comfortable. So then when I saw Reinforce the Line, I thought, I'm like, well, wait, Reinforce the Line gets us past Dominate. All right, because we're not blocking with this card. We're gonna block with like, say, like Maximum Velocity, and then we're going to play Reinforce the Line, targeting Maximum Velocity, blocking 7. So the card's good. I'm running one of them right now. I don't necessarily think that running more than one is needed with the unmovables, the sinks, and we're just trying to prevent the punishing stuff. If we don't have an item in hand, we'll block what we can from an Oakenold, and hope to God we're not losing a Plasma Purifier, because that will certainly swing the game into Oldham's favor. So this is what our pistol plan looks like, at least for me. So I'm going to pull everything that I'm currently playing, and then I want to talk about a couple pieces that I have over here just in the sideboard, that are just variance pieces. So something that I have been toying around with now that Prism is gone is I have High Octanes, Magnetic Shockwaves, Pedal to the Metals, Blue, and a Signal Jammer. And this is just stuff that I am trying to see how it works. So this is my typical 80 cards over here that I'm currently, like, this is what I tote around to armories with. But for my playtest group, this is where I'm at. I want to test these cards. I don't necessarily think, I came off of High Octane because Prism went away, and I don't necessarily know if there's an argument to be made to play High Octane right now. I guess it could be beneficial into the Ice Heroes or potentially Oldham. It blocks 3, great. If they give you like a Blizzard or something, but the thing is like you have to boost to make High Octane worth it. And Ice Heroes like Icelander, cool, but if I'm boosting and I'm like, you know, for every 1 card that I play, I'm banishing a card, so it's 2 cards at a time. I'm going to deck myself into Ice. So I'm not too keen on High Octane right now. But we're going to keep playtesting with it and see how it goes. Magnetic Shockwave is a card, however, that I am kind of still trying to see if like there's room in my list somewhere to make it work. The card blocks 3, it comes in for 4, it costs 2, but it says defending hero must defend Magnetic Shockwave with X number of equipment they control, where X is the number of times I have boosted on this combat chain. So sure, we all love to see like a maximum, you know, 3 boosts and then a maximum velocity. You know, that's fantastic. But what if it's, you know, 3 boosts into a magnetic? If, you know, maybe they gave us equipment, you know, or like they're holding on to it. But we have a lot of Fi's out there, and Fi's going to want to get his value off of Shuko. He's going to want to get his value off Mask, you know, whatever it's going to be. If I could force him to do that, so maybe I would pull, you know, possibly something that I am toying around with is I pull the blue T-bones, and then I put in the magnetics. That way I'm switching blue with blue, and essentially they do the same thing, but it's a finisher, much like maximum velocity. So we'll see. And then another card that I am kind of toying around with in playtesting is Pedal to the Metal. So Pedal to the Metal is very similar to High Speed Impact right here. So High Speed Impact says if it hits, the next attack I boost on this combat chain gains Dominate. So I have to boost that card. So it only affect things that are boostable or able to be boosted, I guess is better English. Able to be boosted. Pedal to the Metal applies to any attack. Any attack that I play after this, it's going to gain Dominate. So the trade-off here is high speed is 1. It costs 1, which is really nice because, like, say I played like a blue, or I mean pitched a blue to pay for high speed, I probably have 1, maybe 2 left, because like let's say it's like zipper hit paying 1, 0 to 6 0 T-bone costing 0, and then a high speed paying 1. I still have 1 floating to Teklo Foundry Heart and then come in with maximum velocity. However, with Pedal to the Metal, if I hit, I can give my maximum velocity Dominate, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's I'm essentially like hitting as hard as a Guardian. So it's, you know, in that sense, I've been seeing if I pull out blue high speeds for blue pedals, does that do anything? So far, testing's inconclusive. I'm still working on it. And the last card that I want to talk about is Signal Jammer. Signal Jammer is one of those cards I don't really foresee playing more than one of them. It's just something good. I've been in, I guess, like in the pod that I've been playtesting in, Briar has come up way too many times for me to like really like feel comfortable with her. So I've kind of like, you know, and if we look at like the meta of things and the representation of that hero, she's very well represented. And Signal Jammer is one of those cards that slows her down. So Signal Jammer says that each player cannot play more than 1 non-attack action each turn. So that shuts down things from doing like channel mount into a nimblism or any other thing. Nimblism, minnowism, like they can't do 2 of those things. They can do 1. So that's fine. So there's going to be no embodiment of lightning happening as long as Signal Jammer's on the field. And that's good. The problem is it's an item. It does not block, but it at least pitches for 3. So, you know, it's kind of like one of those things. I'm toying around with these 10 cards to see if like they have a place. To see if they have a place right now in my deck. I don't think right now Magnetic is too good, considering T-Bone is free and it essentially does the same thing. But with more testing, we'll see. And yeah, so that's roughly like where I'm at currently with Dash. I've got, you know, 9 months with Dash, and it's hands down one of my favorite heroes. So yeah, that's just, like I said, I just want to take some time today to kind of cover Dash, how I play her, kind of like some of my thought process on my deck building as we head towards Nationals. And if you guys have any kind of input, you know, just leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. You know, it's until Dash got really popular here, there, you know, I didn't really have anyone to reference or check myself with when building decks for Dash. I just kind of like played what I thought worked, and I took a list to the calling in New Jersey, and I went 5-3 with Dash. So I didn't make day 2, but I think that I was kind of like in the right direction with Chain and Starvo rolling around, and I'm gonna try to do it again at Nationals in the calling San Jose. So thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time.